What's up, my guys? Welcome to another show, NBA Talk with Jay Money and the Shark. My guys, we are here today. You got to make sure it's live first, Shark. For a little while, it's been taking a little time for it to get live, man, but it'll catch back up. It'll catch back up. What's up, Shark? What's up, my guy? Everything good with you?
Excellent, excellent. Just got up about an hour ago, getting into the day, but what could get me into the day better than going live on the internet and talking about some professional NBA playoff basketball on a suddenly not so casual June 8th, 2021. Tuesday, baby Tuesday. Mundane day for most, not for us. Two plays on the day, doubleheader, 7:30 p.m. Eastern TNT. And I think we're going straight business. Jay Money, where do you want to begin?
Let's do it, man. First game of the day, we got the Hawks versus 76ers. Obviously, the Hawks, big dog, they got a bunch of refs, the big dog refs in this one as well for the Sixers. So be interested to see what happens with this one. But I can't say I'm only looking towards the favorite here. The Hawks, they've shown that they can keep up with them, but we've seen it. I mean, the 76ers look pretty, like you say, came out pretty lethargic in game one. And what I was watching, Shark, was that they missed a bunch of easy shots that they usually make, all this, and they still had a chance to win at the end of the game. There's a lot of different reasons why, but I think the 76ers bounce back here. It is up to 6.5 now. It's not something that I'm on. I got on a lot earlier, but I think the Sixers are the side here. I think they'll start off a lot better earlier here. Obviously, Trae Young was getting a lot of his calls. I think this would be more of a 76ers type game here. Like I said, it's 6.5. We're starting to get up there, but I can only look towards Sixers in this one, Shark. What you like?
Yeah, I think conventional wisdom would suggest Sixers. You got the number one seed off a home loss outright, of course, a non-cover as well, to bounce back. That was my initial thought. It was my initial lean. It was everything that would check a box. And then I started going through it, and I started to think to myself, Atlanta is one of the biggest flips mid-season of any team in the entire sport. And I drew it back to the previous series where the Knicks had beaten them 3 times in the regular season. And then all of a sudden, Atlanta was favored in the series. And people were like, what is the deal? And then, of course, Atlanta handled them. And if you really go back mid-season, mid to late season, actually, after Nate McMillan had been hired, Atlanta did go into Philly and lose 2 back-to-back games with absolute authority. They lost one by close to 40 points, and they came back the next game. The first one, Trae Young did not play. Trae Young played in the second one, and they still lost by over 20. And then they come in here and win game 1. So I'm looking at it, and it's the same type of thing with the Knicks, where the regular season literally doesn't matter. And you start to look at the lines, and the lines are very important here. In the regular season, it was Philadelphia -9.5. Then it was -7 with Trae. And then, of course, in game 1, it came down to 2.5. That's extreme line transparency from books. And let me clarify this. People always say, what are you talking about? I get a lot of DMs on this. I'm not talking about the betting market. I don't track other bettors and where the line moves. I'm talking about where Vegas odds makers set the initial average for the game. So Joel Embiid did not play in that game at -2.5. It started to get steamed up, and it finished at 5. Embiid is supposed to play tonight, and it comes in at 5 here. This is why I can't take the game, because it's coming against the regular season lines. We saw this with Milwaukee last night. Milwaukee had laid points 3 straight games in the regular season against Brooklyn. Brooklyn laid 4 points in game 1 and blew them out. It came down to 2. So theoretically, people are saying, based on what I've said in the show all year, this is showing strength to Brooklyn. But yet again, when Milwaukee was favored all 3 times in the regular season and it still moves towards Brooklyn with significance 5.5, it's tough. I could go on for another half an hour on this. I don't want to bore people, but this is going to be really sharp for me. I don't disagree with the fact that Philly needs to show up here. I just don't know if they win the game by 7 points.
Exactly. Like I said, I mean, the 6.5, this line opened up at 4.5. It was to 5. It slowly creeped up 5.5, 6.5 now. So the money, or sharper money, is going to the 76ers here. You don't usually see a team lose the game 1, and then now, you know what I'm saying, they get bet up 2 points from the opening number. So we know that Embiid's questionable here, guys. They like to play with guys with the injury reports. Obviously, Will, we saw from game 1 that he's it's not saying that he's not hurt, but he looks healthy enough to play. So be interested to see if He does play here, which he should, but we know today's NBA, anything can happen, guys. But he is in theory listed questionable. Even Doc Rivers says we're not safe yet. He just played one game. Obviously, still in theory has the meniscus tear, so anything can happen. But he did say that he looked pretty good. Just the way I'm looking at the game, guys, the way that basketball usually works. So when you have when the Hawks, they come out super hot, right? And the Sixers could have been flat from not playing so well. And the Hawks, they actually have a good offense. Like, that's not surprising. What is pretty surprising is not good in my opinion if I'm the Hawks and Trae Young. So you get up by 20 points early in the first quarter here, and you pretty much, when the Sixers start to play their game, when they start to play defense and rally it up, you see the Hawks kind of go back into a shell there, and it was really tough for them to score mainly in that fourth quarter, third quarter as well. If Bogdanovich wouldn't have hit that three, it likely would have went into overtime, and the Sixers probably would have won that game. Just the way I'm looking at it, I can see the Sixers flipping it this time, actually coming out. They know what the Hawks like to do now. They are ready for it. I think the Sixers started off early here this time and then rely on their defense for the game. Obviously, you still need Harris, Curry, you're going to need guys to knock down some shots. And the Hawks bench is a lot better. They have more offense. The Sixers do have the better defense. So it's just about which one will get what they want. The way I'm looking at it, I think the Sixers will win this game. I put a little something on the halftime, full-time line, guys, because if the Sixers don't come out here early, they're not winning this game. So it's took it minus 125. Sixers just need to have the lead at the end of the half and at the end of and win the game, which I see that happening, my guys. So it's nothing major for me. The Sixers do lose this one. I'll be honest, guys. It may be one of my last plays of the NBA playoffs, my guys. But looking towards the Sixers here to bounce back.
One thing that I disliked about the first half dynamic, when the Knicks lost game one, and again, we saw the Knicks be first half juggernauts all year. Philadelphia down the stretch of this regular season was great in the first half. And we talk about this on Twitter regularly with a few of the guys in the chat, specifically Moises and a couple other guys who really follow this religiously. Philly was a melt factory in the second half of games in the regular season. They were first half and then shut it down in the second half. And so were the Knicks. And the Knicks in the playoffs, in the revenge game too, Atlanta came out there and banged them out in the first half again. And I don't know. I just looking at the dynamics here, I'm just worried that Atlanta is just on some other shit. And I just think that as a very large-scale point, Jay, you and I have talked about this, we really don't know who these teams are based on the regular season. And going back to the bubble last year, this is a completely new environment for almost every team in the playoffs. We really just don't know who they are. So it's difficult for me. And that's all I got to say on that. So go Philly, but there obviously are counterpoints for me.
Exactly. Yeah. Let's get to the next game, my guys. Clippers versus Jazz, my guy. Clippers versus Jazz. Clippers land 4. Jazz land 4. It'd be interesting to see what's up with Conley here. We know that he was questionable. Obviously, this is going to be an interesting game. So Clippers usually coming off of game 7. I usually like to say, hey, look, I like the Jazz here, but it could be the exact flip of the Sixers game, team not playing for a while, and then the Clippers that just having to play a 7-game series, which it can be grueling on you, but you are in theory more in rhythm as far as basketball wise. You only had a day off, so it's really tough coming out. It's two ways of looking at this game. Clippers could be down after, you know what I'm saying, this could be like a schedule loss type game. Jazz come out and smack them, or we could see Jazz not necessarily in rhythm, not hitting their threes. I could see the Clippers taking this game. Couple of counterpoints from me on each side. Nothing from me on this one. What you liking, my guy?
Well, play of the day, we quickly segue from the East Coast to not the West Coast, but the Rocky Mountains, Vivint Arena. And I think what really stands out here is how much of one clustered 6-game outlier the last series was. When 6 straight games go ATS and straight up to the road team, it had never happened in NBA history. And I don't think it's going to happen for another 20 to 25 years. So that brings me back to game 7, where it became normalized. The Clippers did win and cover in their home stadium for the first time in the entire series. And again, I think that having gone 6 games against what you would normally expect, which is the home team covering and showing up, this is going to continue to go in the direction of where game 7 went, which was the Clippers covering at home. And then theoretically, off of a fatigue spot, going in here in a revenge game to the Jazz. Jazz waiting here, having tanked game 1 without Mitchell to the Grizzlies. All boxes starting to get checked here. And I think you see the Clippers not play a good road game and go back to what actually their more regular season tendency was, which was to play well in Staples and not travel just fantastically. This team was a better home team in the regular season. And again, I think that when you really look at what happened in round one, that had never happened in NBA history. So the definition of an outlier on a graph and a scale is something that happens irregularly. What happens irregularly? Something that's never happened before. So it's not going to continue to go that direction. You're not going to see the road team win the first 6 games of this series. And I think it really connects with what the Jazz are looking at here. And the final point on that in terms of the line, the Clippers did lay 3.5 points in Utah early season. Utah won that game 106-100. This opened up at -4.5. So when you look at the weighting of that in the same arena within the same campaign, moving 8 points towards the Jazz, I think it's showing significant numerical and narrative strength here for the Jazz. Jazz -3.5 for me booked last night on Twitter. A lot more commentary on that. People who want to check it out, Sharks and Sports, dropped that last night. It's up to 4 now. Get that while it's hot. I think it might get steamed up to 5.
Got you. Yeah, I couldn't talk anybody off Jazz here. I'm waiting to see what's up with Conley here. Conley in this game, I usually like to take a Game 7 team that's off the Game 7 or whatever. I must say the Clippers have starting to get into their groove, and it really showed something in the Game 6, Game 7. I do worry about them bringing that momentum into this game. Like I say, guys, 2 ways of looking at this game. We can look at that it is an absolute phase spot for the Clippers coming off this 7-game series, but also we could have to look at it that the Jazz haven't been playing for a while, and the basketball is a rhythm type game. We've seen these teams that's been off for a while. Obviously, I mean, they can be out of rhythm just a tad bit. So, like I say, when the Jazz are hitting those threes, they are definitely the top team in the West by far, even though, you know what I'm saying, some people don't necessarily agree with that. They are the top team in the West, best defensively and offense when they're hitting their threes. If they're not necessarily hitting their threes, it's not necessarily the same. So, I must say here, though, I'm waiting to see what's up with Conley here. I do like the Jazz more at full strength. I must say bench-wise here, Clippers actually could probably hang with them as far as the bench. We'll see what the starters do. Clippers are all about Paul George, Kawhi Leonard, and surprise, Reggie Jackson. They're also changing up their game plan here. Going to completely flip from the Mavs. They were playing basically small ball, or the Mavs had the big guys in. So now the Clippers may have to go back to putting Zubac in. You can't really. They may try to put Morris on Gobert, but come on now, what are we doing here? Like it's going to be interesting to see. This is one that I likely will just wait for game 1, see what happens here, and also see what's up with Conley, guys. This line will move either way with the announcement of Conley injury.
Yeah, one more point. Going back to last time, we were talking about the mental makeup of Phoenix. Of course, I always give a shout to Chris Paul, but I don't really give Devin Booker enough credit. I really like his mental game. And taking it to this environment, I love Donovan Mitchell's mental game and leadership on the court. And I think Donovan, in his mind, will be in these guys' ear. We don't want to drop game 1 at home this series. This is not the Memphis Grizzlies. We can't just expect to go into Staples and steal games 3 and 4 if we tank this one tonight. And again, I think understanding the mental makeup of the group, some guys are a lot more blasé in this league. Donovan Mitchell is not blasé. He is focused. I think they will be ready to go tonight.
Got you. I couldn't talk you off. Like I say, you see what's up with Conley. They did some come out like by his hamstring or something that he possibly could not play today, guys. So only thing I'm saying is if you like the Jazz, could possibly get a better number. Will likely maybe go down to 3. You will likely see some late Clippers money if the Jazz are without their starting point guard. They do have the better defense. In theory, I think they have the better, more efficient offense as well. Only thing I worry about them is not being not playing for a while. In theory, Clippers are more as far as basketball form right now. But could be fatigue spot. This guy's played a lot of minutes, like 42, 46 minutes in those must-win games, game 6, game 7. So just the key points, I usually like to look towards fading the team coming off the game 7. This will definitely be an interesting game. If Conley's in there, I will be riding with my guy, the Shark, my guys. That's the show, man. 2 games today. Like I say, we will be back tomorrow, my guys. Must say, would you like any words to close them out, my guy?
No, I mean, I just think, one of the things we always talk about, one of the beautiful things about the NBA playoffs is we get these rivalries developing. And this is why it can be hard to cap, because I'll say it again, we haven't seen these teams play each other in the playoffs. And as this develops going forward year after year, this is what you want in the league. We go back to the 90s. The reason why most of us love NBA now is because of the 90s playoff rivalries. So enjoy these games because the league is starting to get into a better place where it's not just super teams blowing teams out, the Warriors going 15-1 in the playoffs and just a bunch of nonsense. I'm really going to enjoy it. And 1 second point on that, Jay said this might be his last play of the playoffs. I certainly hope not. But I do understand that because the playoffs are so ridiculously difficult. Jay, was I not one of the only people to go on record before the playoffs and say this is not going to get easier when everybody said it's going to be amazing? I said on record, this is not going to get easier. Sharper lines, peak motivation is great, but when top teams are equally average at peak motivation, it's a lot of times you're flipping a coin. And that all being said, to wrap, Smack City will Smack City. It is going down. Sharper Waters Nation, J Money's money. And next year, get your popcorn ready. I saw a few people saying, you guys can't win a bet. Trust us, guys. Regular season NBA basketball, plus 40 to 50 units every year for the last 10 years. Totally different environment. Consistency to the inconsistency. Tuesday, baby, Tuesday. I'm getting hyped now. Jay, close them out.
Gotcha. Yeah, now I just wanted to read some comments. My God knows a guy, Isaac, in here is people asking about the shirts. No, it's just, I'll be honest with you, bro. I'll be perfectly honest. I'm watching this game. It's like, it's really hard to me to be a basketball fan these days, guys. It's not really about winning or losing. It's not about the picks. This is such a different game, God. And I guess I'm starting to really get so frustrated with it that it's becoming not to be basketball anymore. It's just so political. I'm watching the Sixers in game one. Like I said, I didn't have anything on the game. I'm watching Sixers versus Matisse Thybulle versus Trae Young. Trae Young literally gives him a little chicken wing, a push off. They call Thybulle for the foul. I turned the game off, guys. It's absolute uninspiring basketball, the way the refs call some of these games. We don't know if the refs have a side in the game or what, but some of these calls, I mean, like, I'm going for the Suns. I have money on the Suns with my guy Shark last night. Devin Booker shoots a three. Like I said, I'm going for them. Shoots a three, kicks his leg out, and gets the foul call. And it's just a different game these days, whether I'm going for the team or not. Watching this, it's not basketball. I don't know what the hell we're watching. The way these refs ref the games now, I'm not watching this shit, guys. I might make some plays. I'll come on the channel, break down the games. I'm not watching these games anymore. The way the refs call the game is absolute. I don't understand it. I don't. Kicking their leg out. The offensive foul. The offensive player will jump into the defender, but yet it's a foul on the defender. You can't play defense anymore. I guess I'm too much of a fan of defense. Basketball is really emotional to me. I was just playing the other day, Shark, and the guy told me I'm too emotional. Guess what? He lost. You know what I'm saying? Our team won 4-0. I'm too emotional, but I like to win. I'm a fan of real basketball. I am a big fan of defense as well. NBA is not defensive anymore. That's why you're seeing totals of 240. Next year, we might see totals of 260 with the Wizards, guys. So sorry to go on a rant. Just letting you guys know this is very uninspiring basketball. Even though it's the playoffs, you cannot play defense anymore, and it hurts my eyes.
We could go back to when this all began. I mean, it was Chris Paul. Unfortunately, I give him a lot of shots, but it was Chris Paul with the swipe throughs, the elbow jump flail. James Harden changed
the game for better or for worse.
And it's it's just, I hate it too. I mean, it's a totally different discussion because obviously capping the sport, you can look at numerical averages. We could be sitting in the middle of Antarctica and beat NBA capping, never having watched a game, but the actual on-court product is 100%, and I should say 1,000% suffering from this contaminated reffing. It's corrupt, it's nonsense, and truly, I don't understand it. And I think if they're trying to say that they want more offensive basketball and they're trying to promote their superstars' stats, guys, just newsflash, fans don't care about that shit. Fans want to watch good team basketball and good competition that's not corrupted by refereeing.
Exactly. It's just like, bro, and basically what I'm saying is, it's like, how will the game? That's how you have to know, and that's why I kind of talk about the refs now, Shark. It's just a little added segment. That's why I talk about guys like Scott Foster. You have to know how the game is going to be refed in game one. If Trae Youngs are getting those calls, the Hawks are winning. Simply put, you even see the 76ers about to come all the way back. Yeah, exactly, and that's why the ratings are all the way down. You see the 76ers coming all the way back. They can't. These little calls, these little foul calls. Sorry, and this is the last time I'm going to say. This is why it pissed me off. They reviewed the call, bro. They reviewed the call. Doc Rivers, everything. And then you go and review the call and say that that's still a foul on Thybulle? I don't understand it. If the games are going to be called like that, I don't know, bro. It's just so much variance to where the refs own this shit. They do, man.
When they review it and they come back and they confirm the call, my God, they're insulting the intelligence of every single viewer. Because every single viewer knows that's not a foul, and then they come back and they say, our all-knowing, video review segment, it's still a foul. Like, who are they talking to us? We know it's not a foul. They're totally patronizing us. I mean, really, it's pathetic.
I turned the game off, bro. I said if they, I mean, it's bad when the announcers are on their ass, like saying, "Oh yeah, that's gonna be returned. Yeah, that's not a foul," and then they come back and say that it's good, that it's right. It just really set me off. Like I said, they have opinion on the game. It's a whole nother. Which I guess I'm a true basketball fan, and I'm not even a super old guy, guys. But I do like the. I wish I was living in the '90s. No, literally. But like I say, that's the last thing I'll say. We here to break down the games for you guys. Try to make some money while at it, my guys. Like I like it. Jazz top play of the day. I might ride with them. I'm just waiting on Conley. I do like the Jazz spot. They are the better team. Clippers. This could be like a scheduled loss as well. So my guy Shark, he's always on the sharpest plays. I would lean towards Philly now. This line is getting up. It's coming down to 6 now. So it is coming down to 6. It was 6.5. Some more sharp money coming in on the Hawks here. Like I say, I'm leaning Sixers. I do think they'll come out a lot hotter. I did put a little something on the halftime, full time minus 125. It is avoiding the spreads. They just need to be up by 1 at the end of the half and be up by 1 and win the game by 1. So, like I say, I really see it hitting. I see the Sixers flipping that. They really turned it on defensively, got into their groove. Obviously, you'll need enough offense to keep up with the Hawks, but let me just say, I think that the game will be more of a 76ers maybe in favor to call. They do have 3 refs, big dogs over there. Maybe they don't want to see the Sixers go down 2-0. Who knows? It'd be a great game though. But yeah, I do see the Sixers winning at the end of the half and winning at the full game. So I guess I'll go official with the halftime, full time minus 125 on the Sixers, my guy. Lean them full game as well. I do think it's a smack city spot. Especially number 1 seed going down 0-1. Hawks back at the house, but I think they got one. We saw them lose one to the Knicks as well, do the same exact thing in game 2. Obviously, Knicks had to come back in the second half, but I think the Sixers start this one off early, and I like that Jazz play by my guy Shark. Guys, sorry to be on a rant. I'm sure most of you guys in the chat feel me. Y'all understand what we're doing here. This game is just called a totally different way. The last thing I'll say, the take foul, if you want more offense, why are you allowing teams to foul at half court or something and with just a regular little touch foul? It is the gayest shit ever. It's not basketball, and it's actually hurting offense. You're hurting fast breaks. So that's the last thing I'll say. So what do you guys say about this, Shark, the take foul?
You mean like a hack of Simmons type of thing?
No, the take foul. So say if a team's going on a fast break, you just foul whoever has the ball to the back court. It's literally an intentional foul. I'm with who is that?
You mean the open
Van
court?
Gundy. Yeah. So Van Gundy. He says like there should be like a clear path or something. I'm not with Van Gundy on a bunch of shit, but that take foul has to go. I can't. But now that's ruined the game. There, I'm sorry. Even if you want more offense, it's ruining the game. It's slowing it down. It's total bullshit, Shark.
I think that I think they don't really have a snapshot to what the fans want. I think this is like classic government where a bunch of elite people sit in a room and tell everybody what they want. There's billions of people on this globe that are not in a 10-person room. It's this classic elite versus citizen gap that functions in government. It's the same thing with NBA basketball. The board of governors sit up there and they decide what they want the product to be based on what they think the people want. They don't realize the people don't want this. People don't necessarily want like a 74-72 like grudge match, but they don't want 141, 138 with the refs' hands all over the game. And I think Adam Silver has really missed the boat. Player empowerment is great. Players deserve a hell of a lot of the cake. I mean, they are the product. But at the same time, this needs to be modeled in a much better direction. And we should do a segment on this just about the game, the sport, and the history of the sport, maybe going forward the next week or two, where we could sit here for an hour and go through 4 or 5 points and really discuss, because there's so much to discuss, really.
Yeah, I was watching some shit on like basketball history today. I think it was Rick Barry. Somebody showing them how he did his shot or whatever with the underhand. Oh, yeah. Just like those were the times, bro. I'm sorry. I mean, I don't know what we're doing. And guys, just to the further point, nothing is the same as it used to be. Go to McDonald's and get some fries, and you'll be able to tell. Just look at it from the 90s. I mean, just nothing is the same. I hadn't went to a fast food joint in forever, but just like McDonald's fries used to be the best thing ever, Shark. Go and get some fries from McDonald's now. It's absolutely nothing the same. But yeah, the only thing I'm talking about is like the take foul. And if Adam Silver, if you want more offense, you want more transition ball, high flying dunks, all this. Why are you allowing teams to foul in the backcourt, avoiding the transit? And what it is, the last time I say, it's the players that's realizing how the game will be called. That's why you have Trey Young, guys like John Morant, newer guys. It's like, oh, Harden can do this. I'm gonna do it too. I'm just gonna go into the paint. I'm gonna throw my body into him, bounce off, fall on the floor, and throw it up, and I'll get the foul call every time. I can't watch it. I will not watch it. I appreciate everybody for tuning in. Please hit the like button and subscribe. Like I said, no going on a little soapbox, but it is what it is. We'll be back tomorrow, guys. We will be back tomorrow no matter what. It's my guy, Shark and Sports. I'm your host, Jay Money. My guy got the Jazz hat on, not the fade hat. It is the buy hat. Top play of the day for my guy, Jazz, man. We appreciate everybody for tuning in. Sorry for the little soapbox, but there were no lies told, I must say. I appreciate everybody for tuning in, my guy. That's my guy, Shark and Sports. I'm your host, Jay Money. We will be back tomorrow, my guys. We gone.